Hey Flash Math! So, we're studying dimensions, and it looks like we need to do some extra work. So let's get started. How's it going, Flash Math? My name is Mr. Billick, and I'm the oldest math teacher of the century, and we're going to be talking about all the fun things we can do today when we change some dimensions. So, let's get started. Now, if you look here, we'll start with our first shape. This shape right here has 3 boxes going this way and 3 boxes going this way. What I want to do is talk about the dimensions and what would happen if we changed those dimensions. The first thing I want to do is calculate the perimeter and the area of our first shape. Perimeter, remember, we add all of the sides together. So this has 3, 3, 3, and 3. If we add the 3 sides together, or 3 times 4, we have a perimeter of 12. Our area, we multiply the length times the width. It's going to be 3 times 3. We have an area of 9 units squared. So we found the perimeter and the area of this shape. But now I want to change the size of this shape right here and increase the dimensions. I want to double it. So let's double it. Whoa! Alright, now I've doubled it. So let's find the perimeter and the area of this new shape. Well, our dimensions have changed. Now we have 6 on every single side. So our new area, our new perimeter will be 6 plus 6 plus 6 plus 6. Our new perimeter equals 24 units. If you remember our old perimeter was 12 units. When I doubled the size of the shape, I also doubled my perimeter. It went from 12 to 24. Now, area is going to be 6 times 6. This side is 6, and that side is 6. So, 6 times 6 is 36 units squared. Our old area was 9 units squared. I doubled the size of my shape, and our area is now 4 times bigger. And we'll get to why that is in a second. But first, let's look at another example and write down some rules for increasing perimeter and area. Essentially, what I'm doing is I'm changing the length of all of the sides of a shape. Like this one, for example. If you look at this size right here, what I want to do is I want to increase this box. So, I use my dimension changing machine right here, and we'll see what happens. All I have to do is ring it, and now I have a bigger size. We're changing the dimensions of the box. Let's start on perimeter first. Take the perimeter of this parallelogram. We know that these sides are both 3, and these sides are both 4. So 3, 2 of those, plus 2 of the 4s, 2 times 3 is 6, plus 2 times 4 is 8. The area is the perimeter, is 14 inches of this parallelogram. Now, I want to take each of these sides and triple it, or multiply it by 3. So this becomes 9, and this, 4 times 3, becomes 12. What's my new perimeter? Well, 2 of these 12s plus 2 of these 9s. 2 times 12 is 24. 24 plus 18 equals 42 inches. Now, if we look, I tripled it. So my perimeter of the original should be 3 times bigger because I tripled the length of all the sides. Is it? Well, 14 times 3 does equal 42. So our perimeter is 3 times bigger. That means if you double something, your perimeter is also going to double. If you triple the sides, your perimeter will also triple. Same thing with times 5 and times 6. But let's write the rule out for this guy. So this is my rule. If the dimensions of a polygon are multiplied by x, the perimeter changes by a factor of x. If you double the length of your sides, the perimeter will double. If you triple the length of your sides, your perimeter will triple. Times 5, your perimeter will be times 5. So that's my rule for perimeter. But my rule for area, as we saw before, is a little bit different. So let's take a look. Now, we can see what happens with a perimeter, but if we switch it out for area, and my students are rewriting this now with area, if the dimensions of a polygon are multiplied by x, the area changes by x times x, or as we like to call it, x squared. Let me explain what that means with an example. We have two rectangles here. This one has dimensions 4 and 5. I want to take this and I want to double it. 8 and 10. I've multiplied everything by 2. The area of this rectangle is 20. The area of this one is 80 units squared. Between 20 and 80, you multiply by 4. 4 is 2 squared. I have simply, instead of multiplying my area by 2, like you would the perimeter, you multiply it by 2 squared. If I triple it in size, I would multiply my new area by 3 squared. But let's take a look at that example and see if we can prove it. This triangle has a height of 3 and a base of 4. I'm going to increase the dimensions by 4. 3 times 4 is 12, and 4 times 4 is 16. I've increased the dimensions by 4. If my theory holds true, the area of my new shape, remember I multiplied it by 4, should be 16 times bigger, which is 4 squared. So let's find out if I'm right. The area of a triangle is 1/2 base times height. So 1/2, 4 times 3. 1/2 times 4 is 2. 2 times 3 equals 6 units squared. Same thing over here. 1/2, 16 times 12. 1/2 times 16 is 8. 8 times 12 is 96 units squared. If my theory is correct, if I multiply 6 times 16, I should get 96. So, let's go to the great mathematical calculator of math. 6 times 16, it does equal 96. In conclusion, if you're trying to find your new perimeter and you've multiplied the sides by 2, simply multiply your perimeter by 2. If you're trying to find your new area and you've multiplied the sides by 3, multiply your new area by 3 times 3. Excuse me, 3 times 3, 3 squared, which is 9. Now, let's take a look at some practice problems, and you can try it on your own.